Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. Here I'm actually sitting next to them. They've been repairing this railroad right here for a while now, I guess, like maybe like a couple of weeks. But they're actually riding, so I think they're getting ready to use the actual train because they're laying rocks on the actual track. Let's check it out. I know that tree's in the way, but you can see that they're moving the train and getting it closer. So they're using the train to carry the rocks, and then they're gonna go ahead and fill the track on the empty spots that they have on there right now. But they've been fixing the track, so if you live in Fort Worth, just know that you probably bring your kids here soon, so that they're able to ride on this train. But okay, so the reason why I'm holding this mic right here is because whenever I have these workout shirts like these, I end up having to go ahead and hang it on here like this. You see, slags. Sometimes it slags like that, so it's much easier for me to just hold the mic right here and then just talk to it. But today, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys three quick tips on how to save money whenever you're traveling. These are like super cheap. These are like tips for peasants, basically. I have three of them. So for the first one, it's gonna be go ahead and never plan a trip, right out of the moment, like buying tickets or whatnot. Usually try to plan your trips at least 6 months in advance. That way you can budget for everything that you're gonna go ahead and budget for. And it'll be much easier, especially for plane tickets. If you buy them way ahead in advance, it's gonna be way cheaper instead of buying them, spur of the moment 1 month to the next month you want to go over to Cancun. It's going to be much more expensive. Another one, so two. For the second one, it's going to be if you're going by yourself and as a couple, stay in hostels. So for hostels going by yourself, you can actually save a lot more money. If you can stay in a good hostel for like about from 30 to 50 bucks a night, and it's super cheap. And all the hostels that I've been to in the United States so far have been very people usually, whenever you stay in a room with a lot of people, they're very how would you say, respectful whenever you're sleeping, especially like let's say it's like 12 people. They'll be quiet whenever they come inside the room and everything. They're very respectful. And if you're going as a couple, it's actually a much better deal to go and rent a private room there than going to a hotel and renting a room. Because yes, you can get private rooms as a couple, and it'll be definitely way cheaper than a actual hotel. Also, another thing, you can also get Airbnbs if you don't want to socialize with anybody. You're going by yourself, you can get an Airbnb. It's much cheaper. Don't stay in a hotel. It's way cheaper to stay in an Airbnb. As well as, yeah, if you're a couple, you get much more privacy and whatnot. But you also get a pretty good amount of privacy in a hostel because you'll be, in your own room and whatnot. And the third one is going to be okay. So for national flights here in the United States, go with cheapoair.com. Again, go ahead and buy your tickets like at least 3 months in advance, just so that it's as cheap as possible. And if you're gonna go international, go with kiwi.com. But kiwi.com, it's gonna end up being one of those things where you're gonna sacrifice one thing for another. So I ended up booking a flight from here to Venice, but it was about $430. But the trade-off is that the layovers are pretty long. So what I was gonna do at that point is that I was gonna go from here over to Orlando, be in Orlando for about 7 hours, and then from Orlando go to London. And then London was only gonna be like an hour and a half layover, and then go from London to Venice. But going over there, it takes time. But coming back, since you're losing time, you're actually, it's totally fine. You'll come back and you can actually leave on Thursday morning and get over here, Thursday night. That's how it works, as far as flights and whatnot. But yeah, it's a good way to save money. If you want to go on a budget somewhere and you've always wanted to go but you don't have the money, you can go ahead and just buy one-way tickets or buy round-trip tickets through kiwi.com and just get the saver type of format. But just so you know, if you get the saver where it's like $430 or super cheap, Just know that if something gets canceled, you have to resolve it with the actual airline. You won't be able to, resolve it with the company that sold it to you. So that's the trade-off. It's like, yeah, it's cheaper and everything, but there's always a trade-off for, having something be extremely cheap. And plus, you're probably gonna end up having to pay for your bags and all that stuff. But there are sacrifices, but you'll be able to go to these places that you've always wanted to with at a much cheaper price. And yeah, okay, so those are my three, tips in case you want to fly for super cheap. But okay, so today I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about two of my shots that I uploaded recently. And for the first one, it's gonna be Chinatown midday traffic. So for this one, it is where I was staying, which is I'll go ahead and put it on the map here, where I was staying, and then you go towards Philadelphia Hall and Reading Market. You pass all of that. It's really close by, and in between that, that's where Chinatown is at. So I didn't really get to explore it much because I was mainly trying to get to the Museum of Art, but I did end up doing some street photography there. So this shot is one of those shots that I ended up fishing there. So for fishing, it's like you stay in a spot and you wait for your subjects to move a certain way so you can take the shot, and then that's basically what I did. I ended up standing in a corner, and I wanted to convey different people going in different directions with like that actual like Chinese arch in the back being a part of my background. So that's why I ended up waiting there for a little bit, and then once I saw that people were going towards me and away from me, I was like, okay, this is perfect. And one of the big problems with that area right there is that it's super congested, so a lot of the shots in there I ended up having cars on my actual shots, like as far as getting in front of people and trying to turn and everything. So I was there for like a good 15 minutes until I was able to capture this shot. So just so you guys know, it's not always like run and gun. You're just walking around and you see something and you like take a picture. It's not always that easy. Sometimes you actually have to wait and get the shot that you want to get. So that's that shot. And then for the other one, it's 15th and Market Street. So 15th and Market Street is really close to Philadelphia City Hall. I mainly stuck to that area because I knew that all of that area always gets a whole bunch of tourists, and so there's a whole bunch of foot traffic, and that's what I want as far as street photography. But this was actually during the middle of the day, like a 1 p.m., 12 p.m., so the sun was really high up. So whenever it comes to shots like these, what you want to do is stick to places that have shadows, because all the other light will be completely overpowering. So usually what I do with these shots is that I'll set up the ND filter. I had a K&N on there. It's not that great, not compared to this one, this Polo Pro. But what I ended up doing is I ended up turning the ND as high as it went, just to recover as much of the image as I can. And I set up my f-stop at 1.4 and then set up my shutter speed at 1/200, and I ended up taking that shot. I liked it mainly because she was actually walking towards the actual image, and she was actually going to go and sit down, but I caught her before she sat down because I wanted her to get that reflection on the back of the bus stop, and I was able to get it, and she was wearing bright green, and I was like, okay, yeah, I need to get this because I know for a fact that I'm going to be able to bring up that green and make it look really bright. So that's why I ended up bringing that up. And I really like the reflections and everything. That's one of the trademarks that I want to be part of my photography, especially when I'm doing city shots, is that I want to capture as many reflections as I can. And whenever I can, I want to make the scene as interesting as possible, like the previous shot. Yeah, but those are the shots for today, guys. This video is already going at 8:44, almost 9 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call it. But I hope you guys have a good Sunday, and I'll go ahead and catch you guys in the next one.